Hey, what's up, goobers? Welcome back. My name is Midas, and I make games. Now, some of you might know me from Sit Fisher. Well, I'm not working on that right now. That's these guys' jobs. And so, while I don't have anything to do, I am working on a role-playing game. Now, it might not be the prettiest, but I've only been working on it for 2 weeks, and I'm not an artist. So, it'll look pretty when it does. But like any good role-playing game, my role-playing game needs dialogue. So, I need to create a system to make dialogue. The problem is, there's no easy or amazing solution to do this, especially if I want to create a bunch of bulk dialogue, which a long role-playing game probably has. So I spent all of this week working on a dialogue system. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about the goals. I want to create a system inside Unity that'll make it super easy for me to create dialogue assets, throw those in the game, and then they'll work. This way, I can create a bunch of bulk dialogue since I'll need it, and it won't be too much of a hassle. Now, there's a program called Twine. Twine is really popular for people who make text-based games with some images usually, but no graphics. Now, I go to school for game design where they teach a narrative design program, and all the narrative designers I know use Twine. So, since I want to be working with narrative designers down the road, because I'm, to be honest, not a very good writer, I want to create some sort of system very similar to Twine in my project. Okay, but before I do anything with the dialogue editor, there's two main things I need to do. Number one, my input system is not very good. For those who don't know anything about game development, when you press a key on your keyboard or click a button on your mouse, it sends input. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that input gets converted into actual shit that happens in the game, but it usually all revolves around some sort of built-in input system in whatever game engine you're using. Now, that's what I'm doing, but I'm doing it in a not super efficient way. So for the first day, Monday, June 14th, I made the input system in the game significantly better. Now, I go into a pretty technical explanation, and I know some of you like that, but if that's not really your thing, you can skip to this point on the screen right now. Also, there will probably be a chapter or something that you can easily skip to if you just don't care about the explanation. Okay, so let's take a look at the scene here, right? In the scene, we have this player character, and then we also have this main camera arm, and then the main camera. The main camera, the job of the main camera arm, because as the main camera arm rotates, I want the main camera to continue looking at its point of interest. So now we have when the main camera arm rotates, main camera stays pointed in the direction, right? And then the main camera arm follows along with the current spot. For this test character, which took mouse input to move around, the main camera arm took middle mouse button and then mouse drag input, and then the main camera took scroll wheel input to do their different function. I'll kind of show this off right now, right? So we have the player character, they're selected, they move around, that's the mouse click, they rotate around, middle mouse, and use them with scroll wheel. Previously, in order to get all these to work, I had to open up the input system, which I'm sure you've seen in last week's time lapse. And if you haven't seen last week's time lapse, go watch last week's video. But the point is, I'd have to set this up, and then on each script that needed input, I would be manually setting up input. I was like, and there's a thing I've commonly found in game development, which is if I think there's a more efficient way to do something, there probably is. So what I was able to do is, I'll move out of the way for just a second. See, this takes input script. Now I can open this up. Okay, so in takes input, the little basic explanation is that this sets up the input system. I set it up. I used to have to set it up like this in every single script that needed the input, right? And now I'm just setting it up here with every single action. So we have move to point, which is click. We have look trigger, which is middle mouse button. Look delta, which is mouse drag, and then zoom, which is scroll wheel, right? And then I set them up here with these events. So all these events are accessible from anything that has a reference to the takes input component. And then I just set them up as normal and create really basic functions to, when that input is triggered, pass in all the necessary variables, right? And now, instead of doing all this setup where before I had to do the private input system equals new input system, any action that I needed, which as our game gets bigger and bigger, I might have more and more actions, there might be a bunch of repeat here, then I would have to set up what to do, when to do it, a bunch of stuff like that, right? Now, all I have to do is I can go to my character controller script, and you'll see I do this similarly for rotate, input, zoom, input, and character controller. So right up here I have an attribute called require component type of takes input, which just means when I add this script to a new object, actually I can show this off, right? If I go to our party manager here, which it doesn't need takes input, but let's pretend it does. If I add the character controller, boom, takes input comes right alongside. So that's really convenient because if anything, any script that requires input is never not going to require input, which is the only reason why you would not want to have another script require. Input system isn't an attribute of the object. I don't have any reason to want to remove it at any point. It's just a setup script, so I don't have to do it over and over and over again for everything that requires input. So let me show you how much simpler it is. All I have is this private takes input system on awake. I get the component, and then I add whatever function I want to the event, and now everything works properly. Exact same setup here. That is 3 lines of code. This is 4 lines of code on this one because this one has 2 inputs. But it's 2 lines of code plus 1 more line of code for each input that you need, right? That's significantly less work. I guess 3 lines of code because I have this required component, right? But that's significantly less work than like if I just wanted move to point, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2 lines of code with 3 or more lines of code for each new input I wanted to add, which as the project gets bigger and bigger, that could become a huge time sink. So hopefully I don't have to deal with it. And this takes it. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of this. I think it's a good solution. I know it's not like the greatest thing or even like interesting at all, but it's a good example in my opinion of why like building efficient systems for you, like systems that take less time for you to build, it can be super effective in game development. And personally, I find them very rewarding. As you can see, I'm stoked. I'm very happy that this is, yeah, I'm happy. Anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. That's the 14th. See ya. Okay, and that's the explanation. Too long, didn't read. For those who skipped, I made the input system much more efficient to apply to stuff in the game. The second thing that I had to do was make it so that the player could actually interact with the world, because that's how you would typically trigger dialogue to actually happen. The way that this RPG works is that you click to move, and you can also click on interactable objects to move to them and then interact once you get close enough. So I had to set up that system, which you're going to see me doing right now. So before I did that, I actually fixed this really minor bug where if you click on UI, it thinks that you're also clicking on the world. So I had to stop it from doing that. So when you click on UI, you no longer are trying to move to that position. And then after that, I got all the interactable stuff set up so you can move over to an object, then stop, and it'll fire this interacted event, which later down the line will trigger behavior. But Midas, I hear you saying, what was the thing that made you go crazy? Well, I'll give you a little spoiler. The dialogue editor ended up being a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's probably best if I just show you what happened. I didn't get anything done yesterday. So today I woke up and went, I need to get a lot of stuff done. Now look at this. Look at this. Look. Add node multiple choice. Boom. Dialogue name. Add choices. Oh, let's create a dialogue right now. Boom, caught by guards. I've created dialogue. This is a dialogue tree. I made this. I made this with my own 10 fingers. And you know what? Tomorrow, I'm gonna just make it better. It's late. It's really late. I just got back from hanging out with the Civ team the whole time, and in the like 10 hours I was there, I ended up doing next to nothing. I'm so behind on this dialogue system, and I want it to work. I do. I really do. Cher, come here. I want it to work. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I mean, I don't care how long or how difficult it is. I'm gonna do like most of it tomorrow. I've been sitting in front of my computer for 10 hours. But I did it. It's 1 a.m. Look at what I'm about to show you. Look at this. Look at this. I can open up my dialogue editor. I can create a single node. Create a multiple choice node. I can add and remove choices. I can take these and I can group them together. I'll have to rename them so that there's not an error. Look, and then I can save it and then load. Oh, and look, it loads and I can now access these in game. I can use them for stuff like and you can save and you can load and you can clear. It's so dark. You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't care that it's like, it's genuinely so dark. I'm taking off my blue light glasses for this. I did it. It's done. Do you know how cool this is? See ya. So, obviously, I'm having a very normal reaction to just everything. But it wasn't until I was working on my own custom features for the system that stuff started to go, you'll see. You'll see. Okay, so it's currently 8:30 p.m. and I'm having this really weird issue. Take a look. When I try to load, I get this error here. I don't know why I keep creating a note. When I try to load any of these, I get this error that says object reference not set to an instance of an object, and it's a text utility, CS47. So CS47 is here, but it says int text length equals text.length, which text is here. So I am not sure what the issue is. I'll see if I can figure it out. This is making me go a little crazy because it's a big distraction, and I did not write the script. I got the text utility script online, so I'm not 100% certain what I need to change. We'll figure it out. It was working last night. It was... Fuck. Dude, it was working last night. It was working last night. I watched it. I have video of it working, and I commit, and now it doesn't work on any of the branches. I'm not even getting an error anymore. Like, it's just, look at this. Look at this. Okay. Look. Okay, I'm getting an error now, and it's back to this text utility error. Okay. I'm gonna try on a different device, seeing if this will work. This is not great. This is not great. I fear that I might have to go back and redo all of the loading system. I thought I had my fucking system working. Turns out I did not at all. Now, here's the thing. I will give myself at least one little bit. I'm double checking. The saving works perfectly. That was the most complicated script I did. The loading is less complicated, but I can't figure out why it's not working. So I'm getting my changes on a new device. Nope. Not working on any other device too. Oh. I'm crazy. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Hold on. I just made a huge discovery. Check it. Okay, watch this. Let me explain. We have a new area called test node. Look, we have a dialog. Save. Right? Load. Test date. And that's not just a fluke. It's loading it. My theory is that it's loading and saving properly, but for some reason when I reload Unity or whatever, it's not keeping the information on the scriptable object, which isn't how that's supposed to work. Okay, solution found. Nothing in my code is broken, but there is some issues. So let me figure out what they might be.
Another one.
Maybe if I make it dark, it will make more sense. You didn't think about that one. Did you? I did it. God. Oh my fucking God. And I'm not even done. I just fixed a bug. Dude. Yeah, so my theory was correct. It was that... Sorry. My theory was correct. The problem was that if I closed and reopened Unity, it didn't save anymore. And I fixed it because things weren't serialized properly. Okay. Fuck. Back to work. Yeah. It's done. It's done. But I don't get to stop yet because even though it works, I have to get it to work. It exists. I can make the scriptable objects. I can have a dialogue asset. Now I need to have it show up in game. Clearly it's not in game, so my god. Oh my fucking god. You saw that. You saw that. Man. Such a fucking relief. You saw that. I can show the footage. I can make a graph. I can use it as dialogue. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's a little, you know, the UI could use some work, all that, but like, oh my god, the dialogue system works.